Hello my dear students, good day. I am Sir Carlo Ang, your BES teacher. In this module, we'll talk about your business enterprise simulation orientation. First of all, my dear students, I want to say congratulations for accomplishing the previous semester. I really was not kidding when I said before that the first semester of ABM is actually the most difficult semester of your senior high school lives. And you've accomplished it, and all of you passed without any failing grades. So congratulations for that. We're very, very happy. We're very, very proud of you. Of course, I know we're still quite sad that we were not able to have your marketing defense at the same time your research proposal pitch. But of course, given everything that happened, if you remember, diba, we had the storm during Thursday, and then practically the internet was cut for the whole city during Friday. So I guess it was a good decision that we didn't push through with it. But nevertheless, please do not let the fact that we did not continue with the defense cloud the fact that you still, of course, accomplished your first semester. So congratulations still for that. And yes, of course, congratulations to those who earned their honors during the first semester of this school year. So where's my list? Congratulations to Joey Dumaraog, and congratulations to Blay Tingting for the Makasandig campus for your third honors, and of course, congratulations to Famida Guro for your second honors. We're very proud of you. So we're finally starting the second semester. Before we start with the business enterprise simulation orientation, let me first talk a little bit about the second semester. I think I mentioned this before, but the second semester is actually the easiest semester that you will have in accountancy, business, and management. By the way, my dear students, when I say easy, I don't necessarily mean easy as in simple, as in easy to do. No. When I say easy, I mean the subjects that you have for this second semester does not necessarily require a lot of brain power for you to be able to pass them. My dear students, if you look at the subjects that you have now for the second semester, they're actually not hard, alright? Because a lot of the subjects that are tough for senior high school, you're actually already done with them. Subjects like general mathematics, business math, the accounting subjects, business finance, even the Filipino subjects, even the science subjects such as physics and earth and life science, you're already done with all of that. And the subjects that you have remaining are not hard at all. And because they're not hard, my dear students, it's actually very, very common for a lot of our ABM students to receive semestral honors for the second semester. In fact, it's actually very common that many of our students during the second semester will receive an honor, and it turns out to be the very first honor that they're ever going to have in their high school lives because of the nature of the second sem subjects of ABM. So that is my challenge to you, my dear ABM students. Please aim for an honor, even just a third honor. That is something that is very, very possible with the subjects that you have right now. And if you are the kind of student who's never had an honor in your high school life, this is a good chance for you to earn one. But please take note, my dear students, just because I say easy in terms of brain power, I do not mean it as easy in terms of effort. Let me say that the subjects that you have for the second semester are very, very draining and taxing. They are the type of subjects that have a lot of paperwork, have a lot of required submissions, they have a lot of PTs, and they require a lot of effort. So please expect, my dear students, that you're really going to be very tired, you're really going to be very drained after all of the activities you have for all of your classes. But please take note, in this case, your enemy for not graduating for this semester is no longer your IQ. It's already your own sense of responsibility. In other words, ang kalaban mo dito is not the fact that you are not intelligent enough for the subjects, but it's rather the effort that you put into them. For as long as you put effort in the subjects that you have for the second semester and you put a lot of it in, you are going to pass. And hopefully, you are going to earn your honors. So that's that for the very brief introduction for the second semester. Let's now talk about business enterprise simulation. As what you can see on the screen, business enterprise simulation is the 9th specialized subject in accountancy, business, and management. Its main objective is the creation of the business plan, better known as the feasibility study. So before I continue, my dear students, please take note that the business enterprise simulation subject is the subject that has replaced work immersion during the school years that we had distance learning. because unfortunately, work immersion is, as of now, not yet possible because of the current situation we're in right now. So the batches before you that had their face-to-face classes for grade 12, those were the batches that had work immersion. And you, plus the batch before you, you are the batches, because you had business education, you are the batches that have business enterprise simulation. Business enterprise simulation and work immersion are actually two subjects that can replace each other. Now, just like what's written on the screen right now, the main objective of business enterprise simulation is the creation of the business plan, or it's better known as the feasibility study. This feasibility study is a paper, and it's your final requirement for this class. Before we define what the feasibility study is, let's first define what the word feasible means. Feasible is the possibility of doing something easily or conveniently. Please note, my dear students, that saying that something is possible is very, very different from saying that something is feasible. Possible and feasible are very different things. When you say that something is possible to do, it's something that you can do, even if it's not easy, even if it's not convenient, it's not practical, it's not cheap, for as long as it is possible to do. On the other hand, if you say that something is feasible, it is something that is possible, but at the same time, you can do the thing easily, conveniently, and in the cheapest way possible. When applied in terms of business, my dear students, saying that a business is possible is kind of like saying you can do a business even if it is not easy to do, it's not convenient to do, or even if nobody is going to buy the product. Say for example, you want to create a new business and your new business is sinigang flavored ice cream. Is sinigang flavored ice cream possible? Yes, it is. But is it easy to do? Is it convenient to do? Is it cheap to do? Or are people going to buy it? Then that is where you have that question. So having sinigang flavored ice cream is something that is possible, but it is not something that is feasible. Naturally, in business, what we're looking for are businesses that are not only possible, but most importantly, feasible. So is a business feasible? That is where the feasibility study comes in. Just like what's written on the slide right now, a feasibility study is an analysis that takes all of a project's relevant factors into account, including economic, technical, legal, and scheduling considerations to ascertain the likelihood of completing the project successfully. So in layman's terms, a business feasibility study is the planning and creation of an original business and studying the possibility of it being profitable or not. In other words, you take an idea of yours and then you create a whole paper out of it. And basically, the question that this paper is going to answer is the business feasible or not? Just like what's written on the screen right now, the feasibility study is normally lengthy and complicated, but the feasibility study we will be doing for business enterprise simulation will fit the need for distance education. Also, normally, the feasibility study has both the planning and implementation stage, but the feasibility study in business enterprise simulation will only have the planning stage. My dear ABM students, if you are planning to take a business course in college, you will most definitely have a feasibility study there. It's usually on the later parts of college, maybe 4th year or 3rd year college. Then in that case, the feasibility study is a very long and very complicated paper. So does that mean that the feasibility study that we will have for this semester is also going to be long and complicated? Well, yes, it is still long and complicated, but not as long and not as complicated as the ones that you will have in college later. Naturally, it has been simplified and shortened to fit the need for distance education. Also, when you get to college, when you do your feasibility study, my dear students, not only are you going to write the paper which will plan out your business, you're also going to have to prove the feasibility of your business by doing actual implementation in college. So, say for example, if you're in college and you have a feasibility study, and say for example that the business that you want to make in college is all about, let's say, chicken flavored peanuts, example lang. Chicken flavored roasted peanuts. So, if you're going to do that in college, you're going to have to write a paper regarding chicken flavored roasted peanuts, and then you're going to have to assess its marketing. How are you going to do marketing? How are you going to do finance for it? How are you going to do its accounting? Are there people who are going to buy it? What is your target market? You're going to have to do the 7 P's of marketing for it. All of those things. After you do all of those things, after you do all of the planning, and after you go through a defense for that particular paper, you're then going to have to implement it. In other words, you're going to have to cook for yourselves your chicken flavored roasted peanuts, and then you're going to have to actually sell these chicken flavored roasted peanuts to your target market. That is how feasibility study works in college. But of course, here in senior high school, we're only going to have the feasibility study planning stage only. In other words, you are going to have to create an original product of your own. You're going to have to plan for it. You're going to have to assess its marketing, its possibility. You have to you have to find a target market, things like that. You're going to have to create a brand. You're going to have to create logos, things like that. But you don't have to implement it because, of course, one semester is not going to be enough to implement it. And naturally, you cannot exactly go out and sell products because COVID. So one thing also that you have to know regarding business enterprise simulation is BES will be heavily integrated with the other ABM subjects this semester, namely the subjects of applied economics, entrepreneurship, and business ethics. The 4 subjects, in other words, BES, APECON, NTREP, and BEF, the 4 subjects, instead of asking for individual performance tasks, will actually grade components of the feasibility study. So what does this mean? For you to understand what this means, let me compare this with what other batches before you did during face-to-face classes. During face-to-face classes, what the students used to do was they had work immersion, but at the same time, they had a separate long paper for applied economics, they had a separate long paper for entrepreneurship, and they had 2 separate long papers for business ethics. And at the same time, the subjects of entrepreneurship and business ethics had defenses. So, spoiler, these are the parts of the business enterprise simulation feasibility study. So first, you have the executive summary, the socio-economic impact analysis, code of ethics, environmental analysis. Then you have industry analysis, marketing plan and operations plan, and of course, the corporate social responsibility. The first 4 parts of the paper will be due during the midterm period, and the last 3 parts of the paper will be due during the final term of this semester. So just so you know, all of these parts, of course, will be graded by the subject of business enterprise simulation. Now, when it comes to part 1, executive summary, that is exclusively for business enterprise simulation. However, for part 2, the socio-economic impact analysis, this part will be graded, will be counted as a performance task for both business enterprise simulation and applied economics. Code of ethics is also counted as a performance task for business ethics, the subject business ethics. Environmental analysis is also counted as a performance task for your subject entrepreneurship. That is for the midterm period. And for the final term, industry analysis is counted as a part of your applied economics performance tasks. And then the marketing plan and operations plan is part of your entrepreneurship. And the corporate social responsibility is a part of your business ethics. In other words, my dear students, instead of having 1 paper each for each of the 4 subjects, for each of the terms, in other words, midterm and final term, instead of having all of that, we're going to have just 1 paper for all of the 4 subjects, which will encompass both midterm and final term. Hopefully, that will make the load lighter on you. So let's talk about grading in business enterprise simulation. So first of all, business enterprise simulation will not have a midterm grade because its only component to grade will be the feasibility study. So in other words, my dear students, the primary requirement for business enterprise simulation is the completed feasibility study paper. No feasibility study paper, no passing BES grade. And no passing BES grade means no graduation. As for your grading, you only have 2 components, 25% for your consultations and your attendance of these consultations, and 75% will be your feasibility study paper. So of course, I know people are asking now, is the business enterprise simulation feasibility study paper something that has a defense at the end of the term or at the end of the semester? The status of the defense is still unknown. As of now, I still cannot answer the question whether you have a defense or not. I still have to look at the schedules. For now, let's just work with the possibility that there might be, but I will announce this later on. So what is the first step in doing the feasibility study paper. So just like what's written on the screen right now, talk with your group and conceptualize an original business product or service. If you look at the modules that we already have in Silid, you will notice, of course, that there is a module there with which has all of the groups and of course the links to your special consultation rooms for this subject. So for the coming days during the afternoon, please report to your consultation rooms and meet with your group, talk to your group mates, and please already conceptualize an original business product or service. This product or this service must be something that can be conducted during this pandemic, and it is possible with the tools available to you as students in terms of materials or availability of materials. At the same time, also create an original business company name. So for this week, my dear students, I'm going to see you in your classrooms and I'm going to meet with you in your consultation rooms. I'm going to answer any questions that you may still have regarding the subject or regarding the first step. So that's it for this orientation for business enterprise simulation. Once again, this is Sir Carlo Ang, your business enterprise simulation teacher. Thank you very much for watching.